welcome in Wednesday edition. Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Ole Miss at number 11 in the college football playoff rankings for this week. They are on bye, so Ole Miss will not play again until the next college football rankings. But some games will shake that up a little bit, including Georgia and Tennessee. So we'll look at the rankings from last night. Look at some different games that could have impact on that moving forward. Try to calm you guys down a little bit in the process. And then also Ole Miss knocks off South Alabama by 10 last night. Tad Pad throwback game. They're a 10-point win for the Rebels. Pretty sloppy against a Jaguar zone for 40 minutes last night. But that more coming up here today on the show. Show brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations all over the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55 throughout North Mississippi. They've got Sweet Daddies also at a lot of places that have a Blue Sky, ribs, pulled pork, side items, desserts, and plenty more. They're with Sweet Daddies and Blue Sky locations, including the Oxford Exxon. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Asking a question of somebody.
You're good.
Call that number. Ask for my buddy Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they want to be your truck guy. They want to be your car guy. They'll prove to you what that means when you make the call. Again, 662-257-1900. Guest will join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. The Campbell Clinic is the place to go. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit CampbellClinicOxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111. Before we start, this will mean nothing to anybody, but I'm doing this for me.
What?
Congratulations to Jeremiah Dudley, also Asiel Rodriguez, both signing with Itawamba Community College this morning to play soccer.
Really?
Two kids that, two kids that I've known for a long time. Two kids that have spent a tremendous amount of time in this house, in my car, in my truck. I love those two kids. I'm so happy for them both, and super excited for them today. So I know it means nothing to them, but in the event that their parents are listening, Michael, I'm super happy for you guys. Wonderful kids.
His fellow Indian told him to reach out if they need something. I was over there earlier this week for a board meeting. So if they need anything in ICC, let me know there. JUCO soccer's gotten better. Like they're pulling in kids internationally and inside.
Carson struggled with it. He did. He struggled with it quite a bit. But super happy for those two kids, and a bunch of kids off his club team were going to ICC. So it was a difficult decision. But I'm super happy for those two, man. Wonderful kids. Those two kids have been in my house 200 times. Neat kids.
It's one of the things that it's not just your kid growing up, because I even see this with having an 8-year-old. It's watching all the people they know grow up as well and seeing the periphery and all the friends and whatnot. And you go, God, I remember when this person was this age or whatever. I mean, sometimes that even strikes you more with that than anything else. So, yeah, just nuts. We need that Lane Kiffin gif of relax, everybody. Just turn the temperature down, calm the hell down a little bit. That would be good right now. If the rebelgrove.com message board is any indication of what you as a collective fan base are feeling at the moment, just take a sedative, go get a Xanax. It's going to be a minute, okay? I think that's the thing here, because I told Neal before we started the show, 99.9% of the Ole Miss fan base, the night that LSU wins a game over the Rebels in Death Valley, you would have killed to be in the exact situation you were in right now. You would have given blood and all signed a lot of ink contracts and all these things to be sitting right here. Neal and I both agree that on the unlikely chance that something goes wrong from it, you deserved it because you're probably Kentucky, Ole Miss, and 7 in the SEC for Kentucky. However, the odds of that happening are like 1%. Win 2 games and you're in the freaking tournament.
Yeah, I don't know why
You got a really good ranking, and you're going to get chaos in front of you. You have a bye week. Now, look, a home game is dicey. We can talk about that as time goes on, but there's so many games left. I don't know. Is Notre Dame going to lose to USC? I mean, there's stuff. People are going to lose. College football is chaotic. That is literally the reason that a lot of people love the sport is chaos.
Yeah.
And that's what college football does. So
and you haven't won yet.
No, you take care of the 2 games you have remaining in Gainesville and against Mississippi State and Oxford, and you're going to be in the playoff. That's it. Period. Done.
Yes.
There's no issue. I mean, there was literally there was a couple of threads on the board, and I love you guys too. I'm glad you participated. I wish there were 10,000 of you. However, you were looking around going, hey, can we find a scenario where we don't get in? It's like, well, sure. But
I guess
every other normal scenario says you're fine.
But you'd have to fall now.
Yes.
And so the odds of you falling are not very strong. I think you guys are going to get in if you win the 2 games.
And you've got a 30% chance of hosting.
That's probably about right.
It's not much higher than that, but it's 25-30%.
Look, if the committee is looking for a reason to put you at 9 instead of 8, they've got 2 really good reasons. You played no one in the non-league. You didn't. That's not completely your fault, but you didn't. Your non-league schedule was an absolute joke. It was. It was. And you lost to the second worst and maybe worst team in the SEC at home. Tennessee lost in Fayetteville. Mm-hmm. Alabama lost in Nashville. You lost at home. It's a big loss. It's a big, giant, oozing sore on your resume. Now, you beat Georgia by 18 points. You went to Fayetteville and won by 32 points. You went to South Carolina, which is more and more. You should be cheering for South Carolina the rest of the way, by the way. You should be absolute Gamecock fans.
Yes.
I've had people ask me, who should we be cheering for? Well, number one, it doesn't matter because, you sitting at home in Mississippi cheering to your TV isn't going to impact the game 4 states over. So, do whatever the hell you want to do. But if you're asking,
who says? Are you kidding?
Who should you be hoping wins? You should there's 2 games that if you're looking for reasons to be engaged in football this week, it's easy.
South Carolina.
And you should be cheering for Arkansas and South Carolina as hard as you possibly can. Because they can both do you favors. The South Carolina win looks better and better and better every time they win a game. You went there and dominated them. You went there and won by 25 points. It's a big win. It is fast becoming
looks better by the day.
A really big win. It looks great on your resume, but you can't erase the Kentucky loss from your resume. It's a really bad loss. So if you end up as the 9, you're like, okay, well, it all kind of worked out. And my bet is on the 9. I think if you were to put a big pie graph, the 9 seed has the biggest amount of pie.
Yeah.
I think the 8 has a little sliver here, and I think the 10 has a little sliver here.
And there's one little just whatever on a 7 and 11.
Yeah, but barely. It's remember the Price is Right thing? When did they spin the wheel on the Price is Right? No. It's Jeopardy. Not Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune. Where they spin the wheel and there's the little sliver for $1 million.
Yeah, right between the 2 bankruptcies or the loss of turn or whatever.
I think an 11 and a 6 are little slivers. And is there a sliver where you don't get in? Personally, I don't think so. But if it is so small.
Yeah.
You cheering against Notre Dame. Whoever's playing Notre Dame, that's your friend.
Yes.
You cheer for them.
Notre Dame is your enemy right now. And again, as we said yesterday, I'm spending only 5 seconds on it. You're rooting for Georgia on Saturday, not Tennessee.
Yes. You don't want the Georgia win to be cheapened.
No.
You want the Georgia win to be sexy because you beat the hell out of them. Look, you want South Carolina to win out. You want Georgia to win out.
And you want Arkansas to win out.
And you'd love – they're not gonna, but you'd love for Arkansas to knock off Tennessee this week. Texas this week. Because that would probably eliminate Texas. It's what you want. The rest of it, it's kind of out of your control. as long as you win. But if you win, you're going to get in. But I'm with you. It's like just a few weeks ago, it's like I'll do anything just to get in the tournament. And now it's, damn it, I want to host. I get it. Well, and you might still host. It could all work out where you host. There could be chaos. But if there's no chaos, you're probably not going to host. And if you don't host, there's two valid reasons.
On November 13th, when you play, you have 2 games remaining in a bye week, and those 2 games are against teams under 500 with one quarterback hurt on the better team. And all you have to do is win to get in. Take it. That's
100%.
where you wanted to be.
Yeah.
10-2 is what most people predicted at the beginning of the year, in whatever way you got there.
Yeah.
And here you are. Beat Florida, beat Mississippi State. Yeah, Virginia and Army are 2 of your favorites, too.
Yes. Absolutely. You want Notre Dame to lose. But in a world where Notre Dame doesn't lose and they make the field, I think you're making the field. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if you go to South Bend. And that would be a really winnable game.
Oregon is number 1, as expected. They have what is the best win in the country. They have won over Ohio State. Ohio State at 2. Texas at 3, and I get it. I don't really have a problem with it per se, but I am kind of wondering what the hell they've done to deserve it. Tennessee's resume is better than Texas's, and I have questions about Tennessee's. But I'm just telling you, it is. I know Texas lost to Georgia, but they hadn't beaten anybody. Penn State at 4.
Someone says Kentucky wasn't bad when Ole Miss played them. I agree, but it doesn't matter. They're looking at full resumes, and right now, Kentucky, the loss looks like hell. And I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's
a big pock mark on the side of your face.
There's places to go get spin. This ain't it. I mean, you played nobody in the non-league. It's a negative against you, and you lost to what turns out to be an egregiously bad football team.
And you have the 2nd or 3rd best win in the country. So that will carry you.
And the South Carolina win looks better and better and better, and the LSU loss doesn't hurt you at all. Literally, it's like it doesn't happen.
South Carolina was one Lenora Sellers pass away from really jacking this conversation up, with Bama out now, too, and running the whole deal. What the hell was that? Oh, your phone. Okay, sorry. I was really confused there. Penn State at 4. We talked about them yesterday. That was as expected. Indiana at 5. Look, they play Ohio State. We will see what happens to Indiana in the polls once they lose to Ohio State. I do not know if they'll have some precipitous fall or not.
What if they beat Ohio State?
Then I wonder if Ohio State gets in trouble.
Would Ohio State fall out?
I don't think,
because that would be 2 losses.
It would.
Including a home loss.
It would.
Right now, Ohio State's only loss is a very narrow loss.
But their 2 losses would be against number 1 and probably number 3 at that point.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Ohio State's only loss is a barely loss on the road against the team that's number 1.
Yeah, so they're fine.
They're fine. And they should be fine.
Yeah, I think they're in either way. Okay. I don't know what happens to Indiana after a loss.
But Ohio State could fall to having to go play on the road.
Yes.
They could fall out of the top 5.
I guess in a perfect world, you would like for BYU to lose in the regular season, because that would guarantee a 1-bid Big 12. I mean, I think it's a 1-bid Big 12 anyway.
I think that's
guaranteed
anyway.
In a world where you're 12-0 and they lose in the championship game, you would be a little worried about them only being at 11. I guess.
Probably. Maybe.
I think Tennessee takes care of itself. I think Tennessee falls out even with 2 losses.
I do too.
Against Georgia. That's why I think you actually don't want Georgia to just win, but kind of blow them out. And now Nico's questionable to probable, it seems, with a concussion. The Athletic also, and it's a good time to mention this real quick, they were saying that if Tennessee doesn't get in, there is a real world where even at 10-2, they fall all the way to the Las Vegas Bowl.
Oh.
Because of the way the bowl matchups work. They were at the Citrus last year. They're not going to do a repeat. South Carolina is going to be the really trendy, probably 9-3 team there, potentially.
Oh, if I'm a Florida Bowl, I want 9. If
you
I
want
can
the
have
Gamecocks.
9-3 South Carolina, yes, because they'll take 50,000 people.
Yeah. So they mapped out to the point, and I get it's just click-based projections, but they mapped out a very real scenario in that projection for Tennessee to go all the way to play Arizona State in Vegas at 10-2. So there's a weird thing there. Tennessee will have 114 opt-outs.
Yeah, that'd be
go Sun Devils that day.
That'd be tough.
Notre Dame at 8. Tennessee's at 7. Notre Dame at 8. Miami only fell to 9. Not a crazy fall for Miami after that loss to Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I don't understand that part.
No, because even like, and look, it's where the committee uses the things that they want to use for every single scenario, which completely contradict another scenario. Because they talked about why Georgia did this and Georgia did this, and then Miami, they went completely the other way and didn't even follow the same principles at all. And it's like,
I go back to something I've said 10 times, so I'll go ahead and say it on 11th. We don't know what they're going to do.
but I don't think there's a shot of Miami and SMU getting in.
No, I don't think so either.
I think Miami would fall out if they lose the championship game to SMU, even with.
And so
losses.
it really doesn't matter here because the winner of that game is going to get a top 4.
Yes.
So the part about where Miami falls at the end of the day,
as long as it's not a 2-bid league, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And maybe they're trying to position it to be a 2-bid league. And if that's what they're trying to do, well, then the SEC and the Big Ten are going to have chaos.
Yes.
So and that's
no one can predict that.
And that's possible because we don't have data. We've never seen them lay out a 12-team tournament before. We don't know what their objectives are.
Given schedule remaining and where they currently sit, obviously they have to win, but I think Alabama might even sit better than anybody in the SEC right now to get in.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss is second, but I think Alabama's first in that. Alabama's sitting at 10th right now inside the SEC. Georgia at 12. They would be the first team out of a bracket if this bracket were existing in real life at the moment because of the Boise State thing. Boise State is at 13, one spot out, but in.
Yeah,
SMU
and if you're
14.
Georgia, you're not gnashing your teeth today because if you beat Tennessee, you're going to move up.
And SMU is completely irrelevant because they're going to fall. They can't get in the top 12 if they lose again, and if they win the whole thing, they get the automatic bid. So the Mustangs don't exist.
So it's immaterial.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
A&M at 15 can easily jump in with a win over Texas.
Yeah.
They would get in.
Yeah.
They control their own destiny.
Because their losses are Notre Dame.
Yes.
And at South Carolina, which looks
better
less and less as a bad loss by the day.
Yes. So they're okay. Kansas State at 16, Colorado at 17. Those would be one-bid champions if something happened. So, again, does not
That's
matter.
why I think the Big 12's a one-bid league.
Yeah. But the only scenario that would make it not would be a 12-0 regular season BYU with a win over SMU, losing in the Big 12 title game.
Right.
Did they stay in the top 11?
Could.
Doubtful, but maybe. But yeah, if you're Ole Miss, you're just there's the only way you're not jumped by anybody unless Georgia jumps over you after beating Tennessee and Tennessee doesn't fall behind you. But I don't even see that. Like you can't get jumped
until and unless that happens. I don't know that I understand all the angst.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not making fun of the angst. But like at the soccer game last night, there were some people that were kind of angst about it. And I was like, it's fine.
Cooper asking, why is Tennessee and Texas winning out not the ideal scenario? Because it would leave only 4 SEC teams, 10 or 2 or better. Because you would run the risk of having to make sure you're not the one out in a scenario where the Big 12 or ACC did get 2 in.
Yeah.
Like you would be chopping blockish there because you're just debating a bunch of 10 and 2 resumes where nobody played each other. And you don't know what to do.
And
your win looks worse because Georgia took another loss.
Yeah. And you've got you need things at the top of your resume to negate the stuff at the bottom of your resume.
Yeah. So you want Georgia to look as good as possible because it is literally this big insurance policy you've strapped to your back now. And you get to carry that with you.
Yeah.
So you want the backpack to be big.
Yeah.
Big hiking backpack.
Hell, they might do that deal where they send Georgia back to Oxford or I don't know.
Well, because look, I get the weather dependent portion of this, but if they gave you this route, I mean, it would be manna for heaven for you guys. You would be playing Penn State on the road, okay, whatever, in round 1. If you can't beat Penn State, you're not winning the title,
right?
And then you would play BYU at a neutral site. What do you? I mean,
that's as good of a scenario as you could draw up.
Yeah.
But look, once you make the playoff, if the goal is to win the title, at some point, whether it's in the first round or the third round, you're going to have to go through an elite team. There's just no realistic path where there's no path where like you get ULM in the semis. That just doesn't work like that. So you're going to play somebody. Might as well go ahead and play them. That's why I'm always kind of like, And I think I've irritated some people in the building over there with not really playing along with the 2 plays away, but you're not. I mean, okay, but those 2 plays existed. They count. So there's.
And I don't even think Lane was doing it from a politics standpoint. I think he was talking to his team of, hey, you're good.
I do too.
You're good.
I do too. Oh, yeah.
Like,
No.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a good team. We're right there. Just win. It's going to be all right.
Yeah. No, I think in hindsight, he did a really good job in the I think they benefited greatly from having an open date after LSU.
Yes.
And I think he did a really good job of kind of letting them stew in it for 2 days and then going, okay, hey,
time to go.
We're good.
Yeah.
We can do this.
And
then it's very clear that something happened at halftime of the Oklahoma game.
And since that point, they've been metrically the best team in the country the last 10 quarters. So, I mean, you have that play out. All right, we'll look at the bracket in a second. First, Citizens Bank is in Oxford, and you're not just an account number, you're a valued member of the community. And if you find yourself in the market for a mortgage, there's another reason to give them a try. Whit Wilson, who many of you know in the mortgage space, now at the Citizens Bank and ready to help you with your real estate goals. That's 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E in Oxford. Discuss your options with Whit or any of their experienced bankers who value your unique financial journey. While you're there, ask about the School Spirit debit cards, an amount per every transaction, a local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
We're brought to you by our friends at Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, South Haven, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. The rain is falling today. That means that the leaves are falling as well. If they're falling into your gutters and clogging your gutters, you're going to have issues with the rain. So this would be a really good time to call our friends at Window Hero. From window cleaning to pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, everything in between. Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise to make your property look and feel brand new. If you're anywhere in North Mississippi, Window Hero has locations for you. Roby and Susan Allen, dedicated to helping Oxford and all of North Mississippi with their windows, gutters, and everything in between. So call Window Hero at 662-510-7077 to get an estimate. Learn more at windowhero.com. We're brought to you by Rustic Revivals, based out of Flowood, Mississippi. Rustic Revivals builds tables and other furniture by hand with locally sourced lumber. The husband and wife team of Josh and Ashley Pierce specialize in custom-ordered tables, beds, dressers, coffee tables, bookshelves, decorative cabinets, chairs, and more. They have a limited selection of ready-for-pickup pieces available in their shop. They deliver within 250 miles of Flowood. You really ought to go check them out on Facebook, on Instagram. You can go to their site, rusticrevivalsms.com. You're going to love what they have. It'd be great for Christmas gifts and things of that nature. So get in touch with them. Get 20% off just by entering the code REBELS20. 228-217-1243 or email rusticrevivals@gmail.com. Are you retiring soon? How long should you take? Should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Again, rebelsretire.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Northeast Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, they offer both residential, business packages. The 100 megabyte is now $300 for the exact same price, and speeds go all the way up to 2 gigabits. To learn more, register for service. That's AnySpark.com. AnySpark. Get connected. Stay local. We're talking about Indiana a little bit. They've got a bye this week. They play Ohio State next week. So
in Columbus, right?
That is correct. In Columbus, 11 a.m. That will be big noon kickoff, I assume. There.
Same time as Ole Miss, Florida.
There you go. Heads up.
Yeah.
Ratings bonanza.
That will get a big number. Ohio State, Indiana will get a big number.
Oh, it will. It'll win the 11 o'clock slot.
Yeah.
I meant to pull those. I got those up in a minute. I'll go get to those in a second. All right, real quick. Just because why not? Yeah, the bracket in this, again, remember, bracket doesn't necessarily reflect rankings because you have automatic bids. So, I mean, it's where there's a benefit to getting out of that 8-9 because you avoid playing Oregon in the Rose Bowl. You get anything else when it comes to that. But, I mean, if that's the end of the world, okay, great. You go to Pasadena and play the Ducks.
If you're an Ole Miss fan, wouldn't you want to go play in the Rose Bowl? You've never played in the Rose Bowl. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
Oh, I think out of the possibilities right now, being the 8th seed might be where you would pick because you get the home game. So and in this scenario, you win, and then you go, okay, we're immediately going to Pasadena to play Oregon. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
and if you're going to win the championship at some point,
you got to beat them anyway.
You're going to have to go through a team like Oregon at some point.
Yeah, might as well do it now.
Well, I mean, if you knock them off, the next round would be easier, technically.
It would.
Right?
Yeah, just a refresher here.
So what are the semifinal games? Are those bowl games?
They are. That's what I'm going through right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so playoff first round games. This is really the first time this is overly relevant because Ole Miss has won enough to make this relevant, and we're closer to the end of the season. There's one game on Friday, December 20th. It is at 7 o'clock on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
It is a playoff game.
An on-campus game.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Then Saturday, it's a triple header. Triple header of playoff games, all on the first two are on TNT.
Mm-hmm.
The last one is on ABC, ESPN. So what happened was ESPN had the rights, but they had the ability to basically sublease them out, and they sold 2 games to TNT in the first round.
Okay.
God knows what TNT paid for those 2 games, but
a lot.
They have them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
So that will be an 11 o'clock game, a 3 o'clock game, and a 7 o'clock game, all on campus.
Okay.
Friday, 3 Saturday.
Got it.
It's quarterfinal games, and these will be matched up geographically to the top 4 seats. That's how they will do this, is find some way geographically to make this fit into either a conference affiliation or distance when it comes to how the top 4 seeds will play into these bowl games. And that will be Tuesday, December 31st. So New Year's Eve at 6:30 p.m. is the Fiesta Bowl.
Okay.
And then, again, a triple header the next day of quarterfinal games on New Year's Day.
Peach is first, right?
The Peach always at noon.
Okay.
Or it's at noon, yes, Central. The Rose at 4 and the Sugar at 7:45. 7:45, by the way, on that again.
Yeah.
7:45 Central.
Well, that's that deal where you sleep till noon and then just make yourself do it.
So, yes, in assuming Oregon wins out, or frankly, assuming Ohio State wins out either way and wins the Big Ten title game, the Rose Bowl will be the 1 versus the 8-9 because nobody's catching either one of those teams if they win out. They will be the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
And they will play in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
So that is where that sits. I'm assuming an SEC team is the 2 seed, meaning the Sugar Bowl will be the 2 versus the 7-10.
Yeah.
Or whatever that is.
It's probably safe.
And then we'll go from there on the others. Who the hell knows? Obviously, the ACC would like for their team to be in the Orange Bowl. No, we're not there yet. Sorry. So I don't know. Peach or Fiesta. I really don't have a clue. I mean, in a world where Ole Miss was the top 4, they'd ask for the Peach, wouldn't you? Or would they go to New Orleans?
Either.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter, does it?
I mean, if they asked me, I'd say we're going to the Peach Bowl.
You'd love to go to the Peach Bowl.
Because, God, they take care of us. They're so good.
They do.
I mean, the Sugar Bowl does good, too, but it's not like
it's
the
next
Peach.
tier. It's not in that tier.
The Peach Bowl and the Cotton Bowl are
they're
just
here.
amazing.
The semifinals
The
this year.
Fiesta Bowl was really good the one time I covered it.
You've said, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like 20 years ago, right?
24 years ago.
24.
I'm old.
Playoff semifinals are on January 9th and 10th. So now you have another week and a half off between the quarters and the semis. The semis are Thursday, January 9th at 6:30, and then Friday, January 10th at 6:30. Those are the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl in the semifinals this year. So Orange and Cotton are the semis, and then the championship game is on January 20th, and that is in Atlanta. So Ole Miss, assuming like an 8 seed, just for the hell of the conversation, and you won, you would host on the 20th to 21st. You would go to the Rose Bowl on January 1st at 4 o'clock. You would go to the Cotton Bowl at 6:30 on January 10th.
Okay.
And then you would play the championship game in Atlanta on the January the 20th.
Be a big day on the 20th. Got an inauguration.
Oh,
of the national title game.
Oh, Colorado has a 10 a.m. local game.
Wow. That's awesome. God.
Oh, wow.
I'm glad you can only see me from the waist up right now. Phew. I told you, man.
That would improve your mood all week.
Matt Rule's my guy. When he was like, hey, I'm for 9 a.m. games. I was like, Matt.
My man.
I don't swing that way, but if I did. Whew, I would have a man crush on you, my friend.
I'll spend 45 seconds here. Current
9 a.m. kick.
9 a.m.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, current bracket, Tennessee hosting Notre Dame, then going to Oregon, or playing Oregon. Ohio State hosting Boise State, playing Miami. Indiana hosting Alabama. That would be an interesting first-round playoff.
Be awesome.
Be
awesome.
Big day in Bloomington.
Huge. Isn't that what it's about?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be really cool.
God, Kentucky did have a ton of people in Atlanta last night. Kentucky beat Duke in basketball.
Yeah, they have an amazing basketball fan base.
Yeah, State Farm Arena.
They do. They're amazing. I mean, if you've never been to the SEC tournament in Nashville, you should go because you get to see the loudest of Kentucky's fans, and I think they're fun. Frankly, I mean, people do this fan base is obnoxious. All fan bases are obnoxious. They're good. There's something cool about that arena when it's UK.
Mm-hmm.
Then
when they lose, you can get tickets wherever you want them.
Yeah, and
they'll hand you their tickets.
And if they lose on Thursday or Friday, if you'll just hang out right outside,
and I mean hand, not buy, hand,
you'll get free tickets to the semifinals and finals.
They will just walk by and go here,
F it.
Yeah.
And if you hold like a $20 bill out, you will literally get it for $20.
Yeah. Then Penn State, Ole Miss, BYU. We've been over that.
Yeah.
So path for Ole Miss would be Penn State, Ole Miss, Penn State, BYU, and then Texas, Indiana, or Alabama.
Yeah.
Bama's the only scary team in that bunch.
Got to play something. I mean, again,
you don't get a title handed to you.
No, I mean, if you're going to win, you're going to have to play good teams. But look, I said this the other night. It gets lost in it. Nobody's beating Georgia by 18 points. Ole Miss just did it. Ole Miss is perfectly capable of winning the national title. They are. I think they got to run the ball a little bit better. But they have every other thing that you're looking for to
go. A quarterback and a defense.
Now they could go there.
They can lose.
Everything is so fairly even that they could lose. They could go to Penn State, get some weather, and lose. And if you go to Penn State as the 9 and people go, well, it wasn't fair. It's like, well, I mean, you lost to Kentucky. You know, I mean, that's going to be the part of it.
Had you beaten Kentucky, you'd be the 2 seed right now.
Yes.
Literally, the 2.
Literally, you'd be right behind Oregon. You'd be the 2 seed. Yeah, that's the game that haunts you. That's why when people go, no,
and you'd be 2 wins away from the 5 seed.
Yeah.
Because even if you lost in the title game, who gives a crap?
Right. Or even if you just beaten LSU. Yeah. So if you want to do the other one because it makes you feel better emotionally, do it. I mean, it's fine. At the end of the day, though, you lost both of those games. And the Kentucky loss is the one that stings. It's the one that kind of holds your metrics back. But they could get to 8. My prediction is nothing more than a prediction. It's not what I'm cheering for. I've had people say, what do you think? And what I think when I look at it is you're probably going to move up 2 more spots. I think you're going to be the 9. That's what I think. I could be completely wrong. I'm putting no money on it. So in a world where I'm wrong, it's not going to cost me anything. That's what I would. But if you told me I had to go take $500 and bet on where Ole Miss finishes in the rankings, I would bet. I think I'd put my money on the 9. Wouldn't you?
Yes. And if you gave me the 8 or the 9 as like this other option at different odds, I'd be completely great.
Sure.
I just.
But if I told you, no, there's no variables here.
9.
You have to put it on one number.
Yeah.
You don't get to hedge your bet. You have to put.
I would go 9, 8, 10, 7.
That's probably about right. But if someone told
11, 6.
But again, if someone told you you've got to put all your money on one thing, you don't get to hedge it at all, you'd put it on the 9. But no, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Ole Miss got to the 8. Probably a little surprised at 7, shocked at anything above that. And I think it's very clear if they don't lose, they're not falling below 11.
9 seed. Sorry, not ranking. Seed. We're trying to seed them here.
Yeah,
not
yeah,
rank
yeah.
them. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you made me bet what game Ole Miss is playing in, I would bet they're playing in the 8-9 game.
As Oxford or some Big Ten school.
And I would bet as the 9.
I was looking for the overall ratings for the week, and I don't see those.
And G-Man asked a question that's a great question, and no one knows the answer to it because they haven't said. Do they try to space out the conferences for equity in home host games? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Probably not.
No, I think that would be harder to do. I don't see that as a thing. My opinion. Alabama LSU topped out viewership for the week. They had the highest game of the week. That was 7.9 million viewers on average on ABC for the night.
Alabama?
Game.
No, it was bigger than that. Ole Miss was 7.9.
No, Ole Miss was 7.4.
Okay, I thought I saw where the LSU Alabama game was in the 9.
I thought they topped there, not average.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, because Ole Miss Georgia topped in the 8s. Alabama LSU I think topped in the 9s, but average 7.9 versus 7.4.
Okay.
Florida and Texas did 3.9 in the 11 on ABC. Georgia Tech Miami did 3.5 on ESPN for the largest ESPN game of the week, not ABC, just ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
And then Utah BYU did 2.1. Yeah, Bama LSU peaked at 9.7.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And Georgia Ole Miss peaked at 8.
Okay,
that is where that was. So yeah, that gave the ESPN or ABC the wins in the 2:30 and 6:30 slots, and now, if I have this correctly, ABC has won the 2:30 heads up against CBS all but 2 weeks all season at this point. So as we keep keeping track of where CBS failed in their negotiations, I think they are currently 2-10. If you'd like to do the 2:30 thing,
good God,
just getting mauled.
What were you thinking?
Well, and where ESPN, I saw the SEC gloating this week, and they'll lose some of these too. They have lost some of these, but they got a bigger number with Texas, Florida than Fox got with Big Noon Kick.
Yeah,
11, which was a huge win.
And that was with that game over late first quarter.
So that was a huge win. Ashley, yes, thanks to you and Matt. Those are awesome. I appreciate that. I sent Matt a text this morning. Hope he's doing well. He kind of gave me a little bit of an update on his situation, so I appreciate y'all being here. Yeah, so there's your viewership. Sorry, I was trying to see if I missed anything with that, but I don't think I did. Just a quick aside, I saw that the judge in the Pavia case with Vanderbilt, he is requesting an additional year of eligibility. They ruled that there was not enough evidence currently to make a ruling, is basically what the first court hearing said. They're going to allow the NCAA to respond and then move forward from there. Both sides kind of acting like that was an expected thing. I understand that the NCAA loses every court case right now, and that's just where we are in an era. I don't know if we put enough credence on the precedent that would be set if he wins, and I don't think he's going to win. I think this is just a flyer because he knows this is where his value monetarily is, and I don't blame him. Whatever, it's fine. But the precedent would be that no JUCO years count against anyone's eligibility moving forward.
That'd be good for JUCOs.
We create a hellaciously odd situation.
Yeah. Well,
now JUCOs are already being harmed at a very high level because you're much better off to go to a smaller school, get a little bit of NIL or don't, and then move up in the portal or via transfer in general.
Yeah.
At that point. So JUCOs have had a hard time sort of finding their footing because they're no longer getting that just miss kid. That just miss kid is just dropping down to whatever level he can make, knowing that the big school is going to come calling if he shows out at that point. That it's much easier to transfer up. So you no longer need the traditional 2 years at Gulf Coast Community College and then you go here and do this and do this. It just doesn't work in the same way. And even Jacksonville State can pay more than Etowamba can to your player, obviously. So that's what you do. So I don't know. Maybe it's, whatever. But I just thought, okay, we're just, I guess it kind of bugged me. I don't think he's going to win.
There are people out there
Uh-huh.
who believe that these limits are artificial and can be tested and beaten in court. And that one of the things that might be coming is the guy that goes, you know what, I can make more money playing college than I can do anything else. I'm going to keep playing college football.
Yeah. And Dortch is right, and you're right, too. Yeah, I mean, I think it would help JUCOs. I just don't like it in the overall ecosystem. It's not about junior college. Yes, it would absolutely help JUCOs.
No, I like the idea of having, but I guess I'm a traditionalist. I never thought I was, but I guess I am. I mean, the idea of a guy playing his 8th season of college football kind of bugs me. But I don't know how a court's going to rule. I mean, a court might go, there's really no, there's nothing stopping the normal student from just staying. I mean, like if you wanted to go to school and you took 5 years to get your undergrad, and I'm being a little hyperbolic, but I'm doing this for a reason. I'm not trying to be a jerk. And then you went to grad school for 2 years, and then you went to law school for 3 years. I mean, it's conceivable. I mean, it would be insane, but it is conceivable. No one would stop you from just continuing your education, even if you decided at the end of law school that, nope, I want to be an engineer, and you went back to complete those degrees at a different school. And I guess someone might go, there's really no reason that we're limiting how long someone can play college football. I don't know. I'm not.
His legal argument is that the NJCAA is a completely different governing body, and there's no reason why his clock should have started playing for an entity that is not connected to the NCAA.
And it's a good enough argument to at least have a couple of attorneys go, hey, well, let's do a flyer here.
And the judge didn't say no. He went, you're not convincing enough right now for me to go, okay. Went, let's hear from both sides and just see what you think.
Right.
So I'd be curious legally what the NCAA says, other than what's the way we've always done it, because that does not work as a legal defense anymore. We're past that point. You're going to need a justifiable, tangible reason.
I'd actually like to listen to these arguments. Be interesting. I always get if you had a life do-over, I would have gone to law school. I'd be in law. I think law is fascinating.
And Pavia is the perfect player to test this.
Sure, because he's not playing in the NFL.
No.
But he could go make a lot of money in college.
Vanderbilt love to pay him one more year.
Yeah.
Or somebody else would love to pay him.
Or 2 more years. Or maybe 5 more years. Imagine how good he'd be at 30.
Well, I mean, it's
so if you don't let him play, are you restricting his earnings, and therefore you're denying his constitutional right to
Well, now, I think he's not arguing that in the NCAA can put a clock on him once he's at an NCAA institution.
Right.
So he's not arguing that should just be able to play forever. It's that I should have 4 years of eligibility inside the NCAA clock.
Shouldn't he have 5 years of eligibility inside the NCAA clock?
But you have 5 to play 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So however you would like to do that, that's the way that works. So, I mean, look, college baseball has done this to some extent, not the same thing, but in how they approach. A lot of college baseball programs are approaching the portal on, I want the kid who is good but is nowhere near a pro prospect because I know I can just keep that son of a gun for like 3 years. Mm-hmm. You intentionally shoot below the one and dones because you go, I don't want to deal with that. You're not going to get whatever. So let's pay this one kid that just wants to be a really good 325 college baseball player. And the right-handed kid who's a little step slow, but
you go into the bar and you look for the hot girl's fairly attractive friend,
wing woman.
Yeah,
you know your lane. Just
there's something to that. She's going to be more appreciative.
Might even get lucky, and the other one get jealous or annoyed or something.
I mean, it's possible.
I mean, you know what I mean. You might
end up possible.
I'm doing way better than you ever thought possible there during the middle of that. You just can't ever tell what's gonna pop there. I'm actually meant to get him on the show at some point because we've kind of reached out and talked to each other. DT Shackelford probably did get every damn degree he could because that is one good dude. Like, I bet he maximized his years of eligibility from an academic standpoint. I think he actually, I want to say he got at least 2 masters.
Is that right?
I feel like that is true as I'm talking this out and trying to remember.
Well, I'm walking, talking proof that getting a master's is not always the biggest accomplishment in the world.
That was not the most rigorous
I mean, I've got one
pursuit. Where's the diploma?
somewhere in the attic.
Is it in the attic?
I think
It's not framed, hanging over your bed.
it is not.
Okay.
I don't really know where it is. I think it's in the attic.
I'm pretty sure my bachelor's is in my closet. I think it's still in the envelope.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I don't know.
Pretty sure it's still in the envelope. Yeah, hard-working 3-stars go a long way. Like, I mean, that little engine that could was at Ole Miss Saturday. Mike Hilton, just a little hard-working 3-star. One of the best 15 players in the last decade.
Kevin says the crazy ones, though. I get it, man, but once you've gone down that road a time or two,
today's not story time, but he's thinking of one particular situation in his head right now.
Yeah, once you go down that road a time or two, you go, you know what? Crazy is overrated. Big time.
Peace is nice.
Yeah. Because crazy's kind of scary. I mean, I get why people say, oh, crazy's fun. Yeah, for a moment. And then it's not.
Volatility is typically not the answer.
The fun goes away. The crazy doesn't.
It's a lingering, consistent
Oh, it's
force.
a constant. It's not a lingering. It's a constant force.
Yeah, Dorsey's good point. Crazy's cool until you actually get the crazy, and then it's not.
Yeah. And it's always right there.
Yeah.
Just
below the
right
surface. There. Oh. You get crazy with some fast food. The way you do that is Wendy's nugs dipped in sauce. Had them covered in sauce, though. That's the way to go. Wendy's new saucy nugs. Take the crispy and spicy nugs you love. Turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm. Or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only a Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. That's the ghost pepper. They're already spicy. They use the spicy on the nugs. 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some napkins, prepare to nug like you've never nugged before for a whole new way to nug. It's got to be Wendy's. A participating U.S. Wendy's.
The catfish. It's great. We're brought to you by Grenada Home Center. They've got paints by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paints, Farrell Calhoun, flooring of any and all types, stone countertops, whether you're looking for granite, quartz, or anything else, window treatments from plantation shutters to whatever else suits your fancy. It's Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive. Suite H in Grenada. Call them at 662-226-3127. Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a 4th-generation jeweler. We're getting closer and closer to less than a month and a half until Christmas. If you're thinking about jewelry as a Christmas gift, you need to get started with your shopping here really soon. Maybe you're coming up for the Egg Bowl. You're doing some Black Friday shopping. Stop by Lammons. You'll be glad you did. They've got everything you're looking for in jewelry at Arnett's. They want to be your jeweler. The College Corner is also a good place to come if you are heading to Oxford that weekend. Day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, all the shopping, football, 2:30 game. You got time to run by the College Corner, get your gear for the game, get your gear for maybe the Rebel fan in your life at the College Corner right off of Sisk Avenue in the Oxford Commons. More than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear, plenty of parking available. Staff's going to have you in and out, ready for the Grove or Vaught Hemingway or more shopping in no time. You can also check them out in Jackson, 2 locations there, or at collegecornerstore.com. And we're brought to you by our friends at Argent Wealth. When you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employment's retirement readiness. It's myargentwealth.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Listen, if you're planning a trip that you want to create a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He's going to give you some options. And know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to enhancing and restoring the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com.
The men's clinic is at Madison and Brandon. Are experiencing low energy levels, no motivation, decrease in muscularity, increased belly fat, low sex drive, difficulty sleeping, and other ailments. They can help you out. They do that by optimizing testosterone, improving insulin resistance, reducing inflammation, gut microbiome. They improve your sleep. TheManThing.com is where you go to make an appointment today. After that first appointment, they can work with you no matter where you're located, because their goal is to make you as healthy and as strong as possible throughout the aging process by optimizing all the things previously mentioned. So that's Madison and Brandon, 601-607-7869, themanthing.com. Last night, Ole Miss knocks off South Alabama in basketball by 10. South Alabama ran, I think, maybe exclusively zone the entire 40 minutes. There was not much man defense there inside that one for the Jags.
They pack a defense in and make you shoot over it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of one of those deals where it's
bogs the game down.
They're tempting you to shoot. They want you to shoot from outside. They want you to start taking shots that you wouldn't normally take.
It makes for an ugly game, especially when you're not shooting well. It's not pleasing to watch.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, really? Okay. We told you guys to calm down at the beginning, and I'm judging off one message board post, so I don't know how everybody feels in the stream here. It is one game at Tad Smith Coliseum. It is one game when no one was going to show up any damn way. Chill the hell out. Calm down. It's fine. Frankly, it's kind of nice to not have music at 180 decibels for an evening. Kind of enjoy it.
That's hyperbolic.
Not much.
It's pretty hyperbolic.
You think so?
Yeah, because at Tiger Stadium,
would you like to defend the situation?
At Tiger Stadium, the decibel level I think was like 110, and it was loud because
we called this a non sequitur. It wasn't my point.
My watch was going off. It was so angry. He was like, "Your noise levels are way too high. Levels way too high."
It's very loud at the pavilion.
It is loud sometimes.
You bounce. Pavilion. You can feel the subwoofers below you, depending on where you are in the arena. That happens sometimes.
Okay.
The lack of a kiss cam was okay for a night. The lack of the video board was okay for a night.
Okay.
It's one game. Calm down. You can sit wherever you want. You can go back to your normal seats at the pavilion. They're going to play the rest of the damn games there. Chill the hell out.
Actually, they're going to play one of them at Landers Center in South Haven.
You're trying to bait me, and it's fine.
Well, I mean, you said they're going to play the rest of the games at the
They're going to play one at the Mid-South Coliseum, too. They're going to play Southern Miss on the coast on December the 14th, I believe.
See?
Because no one is freaking in town in December. So you play the game somewhere else because nobody shows the hell up. And yes, it's not part of your season ticket package. It's going to be okay. You can afford the $15 ticket. It's going to be all right. It's one game for nostalgia's sake. They keep it's not like they put a ton of extra money into Tad Smith Coliseum. It's already kept up for the
nostalgia of Tad Smith.
People feel that way. I don't know.
We'll call Andy and see what he thinks about nostalgia.
It's the sky. The Spirit team's already practiced out of there. They keep the lights on anyway. It's an auxiliary space.
Yeah.
Chill out. It's okay. Now, I would have played a little bit of a different team. I would have played it probably on a weekend instead of a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But the crowd filled in fine. It's for the damn students as much as anything. It'll be all right. Damn.
Well, and if
that's all.
Sometimes you want to be able to set up some of those, like, speaking of the lawyers, the ambulance chasing types. Because
you're about to make an asbestos show.
They're going to be able to put out a thing that says, if you were in Tad Smith Coliseum and you're experiencing any of these, call us. You may have been exposed to asbestos.
I really like going to games at the pavilion. I go to a lot of basketball games. I think I missed 2 home games last year. However, it is freaking loud. It just is. It's freaking loud. Maybe I'm the only person that feels that way. I think it's loud.
I mean, I'm often wearing AirPods because I'm doing something else. So I don't.
And I think they show the crowd too much. I get why they do it. It's not about me. My opinion does not matter. I fully admit that. However, just the way I feel. I have a microphone, so I can say whatever I want right here. So I thought Tad Smith for a night is fine. And then you get the hell out of there. You get back into your fancy building and you play the rest of the games there. It's fine.
Oh.
So I am old man screaming at cloud, okay? I'm 40. It's fine.
You are saying that the people that are complaining about it are that
I just think it's much ado about nothing.
You're basically saying they can give up their club for one night. Is that what you're saying? Because it feels like that's what you're saying. Is that these people maybe they could just give up some of the amenities. I mean, they kicked the media out of our room. We have a little cave now.
Yeah, you do, because that is now the the floor seat club.
Yeah, the floor seat club, because that's what Ole Miss needed was another club.
I forget the name.
Feels like that's the you're not quite as good as these people club.
I don't think that's on the door. I don't think that's what it's called.
You're good, but you're not as elite as them.
But to your question, yeah, for one night, everybody can just sit in the same bowl. It'll be all right. Says a person who typically sits in a club area, frankly. I do. But, yeah, you're all right for a night.
I haven't sat in the club. I sit up in the thing, and then I go down to the cave.
Not mad at anybody. It's fine. I think it's an overreaction off one game. It's one game. On a Tuesday in November when the crowds don't show up anyway.
Well, Saturday they're playing the game at Landers Center on a Saturday.
And wasn't that? I mean, I'm actually asking legitimately here. Isn't that because Colorado State wouldn't come to Oxford? Did I dream that from a logistical flying into Memphis thing?
That's the rumor.
Okay, I heard that somewhere.
Because boy, that extra hour on the bus, that's going to change everything.
Well, I mean, Andy will tell you, though, they've had a hard time scheduling here for whatever reason. They could schedule more teams if you played in South Haven. I don't know why. I find it dumb, too. Yeah. But that has always been the case.
Yeah.
Or an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
One way or the other.
There's nothing like the ambiance of the Landers Center, I'll tell you that. It's a game changer.
I've never been to a basketball game there.
It's fine.
I've been to them in Jackson at the old Coliseum.
If I remember right, though, at least from a media standpoint, you get to kind of sit closer.
Oh, do you?
I'm sure now it's
so they
changed.
didn't let the media last night sit at courtside like the old days, though. You're up in the thing.
Up in the top thing that used to be for auxiliary media.
When did that get put in?
I don't remember.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Because there was a time there when there was a lot of road media would come to games. Because I remember when I covered Auburn, I went to every game. That sucked. You didn't even think about it. If they played a game, you were there.
Every basketball game?
Every basketball game. All the road trips.
That's like following Kyle Tucker on Twitter and seeing everywhere he goes with Kentucky. And it's like, oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
The closest equivalent in that in baseball is that LSU, whoever covers LSU baseball for Baton Rouge, for the Advocate, they go like you would for a major league. They go on Thursdays and cover the practice the night before and get a ton of interviews on Thursdays too. Like you're there midday Thursday through Sunday whenever it ends. Mm-hmm. That has become a really good feeder beat though into major league. Like a lot of guys have come out of that. People have come out of that into Chandler Roan. Like a lot of people have come out of that into stuff as time is going on. So
I listened to American Scandal, by the way. I did listen to the Astros thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was fine. There was nothing really new in it. If you were just a person who listens to American Scandal, it was probably like, wow, really? But if you're a person who follows baseball, it was not new.
Yeah. So to close that was my feelings. That's my opinion. I mean, there's going to be a message board post. It's fine. I'm not mad at anybody. You all get your opinions just like I do. You can voice them. No censorship. But I think we're overreacting to one game. Or two games if you want to include South Haven in there. They're not going to play Kentucky in February at Tad Smith.
That'd be interesting.
That I would disagree within that decision, and I would be on your team.
They could play Arkansas at Tad Smith because
let Cal come back.
Cal
and do
always
the whole
enjoyed Tad Smith.
He made fun of it.
Yeah, rightly,
he should have.
Rightly, it was bad.
Yeah. Ole Miss shot 33% from the field last night, 34% from three, and 64% from the line. They have not replicated that Illinois showing in the regular season to date. It does not look like it did against the Illini.
No, it is not. I mean, look, chemistry sometimes is defined as what happens off the court. On the court in basketball, chemistry is a thing that takes time to develop. And this is a new group. Now, I realize that's college basketball. It's one of the reasons that I think if you watch a lot of college basketball in November, you're like, whoa, this is a rough product. Because frankly, in November, it's a pretty rough product. Teams haven't played together. There's not a lot of on-court chemistry. There's not a lot of synergy. You can see it. I'm not going to pass judgment on this team one way or the other for a few weeks. I mean, at some point, they're going to play games that matter, and they're winning these games. They're fine. They're going to have to play better, and they have time to get better to play better. So are there things, if I were an Ole Miss fan, there are things that I would be encouraged by, and there are things that would bother me. But there's plenty of time to adapt to some of those things. And maybe they will, and maybe they won't. It's just not that anybody –
Alabama played them even in rebounding last night.
They did. Grambling, they beat Grambling on the boards. That's what saved them. Now, here's a positive. They're not turning the ball over.
No.
They're not hurting themselves. And I think they will ultimately shoot better than they're shooting now.
They will.
I think in the end they're going to be okay, but it's early.
I mean, they went 13 of 38 from 3 last night, but that included Padula going 8 of 19.
Right. Well, Grind says this. It's Grind who says it. He's right. The SEC should be really, really good. Like if you're watching some of just the early results and if you look at some of the teams, and if it's as good as I think it's going to be and other people think it's going to be, you might be able to coattail your way into the tournament. It might be that deal where 8 and 10 in the league gets you in because your net's going to be so freaking high.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Ole Miss did win the rebounding by 3. I was saying in general, it was even.
Yeah,
it wasn't a big margin that played a role in anything.
It's an area of concern. Don't let anyone tell you it's not. It absolutely is. Now, Malik Dia had a really good night on the boards last night.
13 last night.
That helps. He can shoot the ball from the outside. He's a pretty good shooter. I thought they got a good night out of Davin Barnes. I thought they got some things out of Klafke, the freshman from Brazil. They're working on some stuff. They played without Matthew Morrell last night. He'll be back.
Should be fine. I expect him to play Saturday.
So they're just kind of, they're experimenting a little bit. And as long as you win these games, you can experiment to your heart's content.
You do have to win them.
And they did. They won the game. Got a little iffy when South Alabama pulled within 4, but they made some shots at the end and got it done. And that's what good teams do.
Colorado State, traditionally a decent program, right? Aren't the Rams pretty good?
Usually pretty good. Yeah. I have no idea about this year.
They are 3-0, but nothing that would stand out of note at all. They have dodged one disaster already. They beat North Dakota 82-56.
Okay.
They beat Tennessee State 87-79 in OT.
Oh.
That would be a problem if you'd lost that. And they beat Denver, the Pioneers, 74-65.
Not the Nuggets.
That would be more impressive.
That would be.
Yeah. No.
Something tells me Jokic would have a field day in a college basketball game.
Does Denver still play some of the sports in the Sun Belt?
I don't know.
Denver used to play some Sun Belt.
They did.
Conference stuff.
They sent Carson some stuff about soccer.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the league has got some big wins already. I mean, again, Kentucky beat Duke last night, had a comeback. They were down 7 at the break, I think, and then came back and won the game. Auburn knocked off Houston after the whole plane kerfuffle over the weekend.
Auburn's just a team that has a lot of aggression.
Did you listen to the in-flight?
I've not yet.
Oh,
is
please,
it fun?
Please.
Okay.
What I've noticed is, and we'll go to our last break.
What was the fight about?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, and I'll tease this, and then we'll come back. My favorite part is, I found it yesterday. It's on the board at Rebel Grove. You can find the in-flight audio for the pilots talking to the control center. And yet, I went to the Auburn message boards trying to see what their takes on it was, and couldn't find a single thread.
Really?
Nothing. Couldn't find anything since the first threads that said, no, the pilots were being Karens, essentially.
Oh.
and it was just a small horseplay, I believe.
Well,
Horseplay was, I believe, the word that was used.
Auburn's got a big football game this weekend. Got ULM coming in this weekend. The Hugh Freeze death scare is still fairly new.
Still overcoming.
Yeah, we're still working past that. Got some recruiting going on. So the nationally ranked basketball team having a fight in mid-flight that had to turn around and come back to Auburn, I can see how that wouldn't be a topic of discussion on the message boards. I mean, that's a better explanation than just complete and total Homer censorship. Gosh, dog. I mean, it's probably just everyone's so focused on the football team.
It just somehow got pushed under the rug a little bit accidentally.
Yeah. There's no censorship.
No malicious intent.
No one's covering it up. No one's
news cycles and whatnot.
Well, yeah. I mean, remember, it wasn't that long ago that Donald Trump got shot.
It's true.
So, I mean, that disappeared from the news cycle. So it would make sense that, God, it's been almost a week? I mean, nothing lasted for a week.
As Grind said, they were told it was horseplay. Yes.
Horseplay. Because, yeah, sure. Who doesn't? Who doesn't have bloody clothing torn?
I mean, his pocket says, I will get this. He says they did beat Houston. That's probably worth a fight before every game. Sure, that's fine. You got the win over the Cougars. All right, we'll get there in a minute. First, Declaration of Independence Center for the Study of American Freedom is located on the Ole Miss campus and aims to explore and examine the fundamental and founding principles of the United States of America. The center offers an academic minor in freedom studies, also scholarship opportunities for Ole Miss students that bring along lots of networking potential. Like I said, they've had several different events this semester, more coming as well, a lot of times on Thursdays. To learn more, you can contact Steven Scoltetti at freedom@olemiss.edu or independence.olemiss.edu.
Are you a displaced corporate executive wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur looking to diversify? If so, Andy Ludicky can help. He owns multiple franchises and businesses. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Andy at myperfectfranchise.net or 404-973-9901. Located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana, Parrish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it. For example, they've got Ghost in the Machine right here. It's a double IPA with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from their favorite farm in Yakima Valley, Washington. You can expect pungent grapefruit aromas and flavors, tropical fruit, and less harsh bitterness than most double IPAs. It's fantastic. Wherever you get your beer, look for Parrish Brewing Company. You'll be glad that you did. You really can't go wrong if it says Parrish. Also, elevate your game day look with socks that financially support the Rebels. Every step you take shapes the future of Ole Miss athletics. Visit deadsoxy.com. Choose a subscription to receive the latest in Ole Miss styles every month or at an interval that best suits you. With the subscription, you'll receive 25% off member pricing, free shipping, and a free pair of Juice Kippen socks with your first order. Only 100 of these exclusive socks remain, so take the next step and upgrade your socks. As always, stay soxy.
Podcast is brought to you by Johnson Hill Creamery, johnsonhillcreamery.com. They're located inside Chicory Market, and they can get you ready for the final tailgate opportunity of the football season that coming up with Mississippi State in a couple weeks. It's Black Friday. Maybe you don't want to do the Thanksgiving thing. Maybe you're doing that on Thanksgiving this year. You got plenty of other options, including their cheeses they make locally and in-house every day, sandwich trays, charcuterie trays. Those are my favorite. And then plenty of other options, including just dinner or snacks every single day of the week. Again, located in Chicory Market. They feed 10, 20, or 40 in their catering and tailgate packages. And you can talk to them about custom situations as well. So stop in, and for your tailgating stuff, pick it up on day of game or day before the game. They can hook you up either way. Again, that's johnsonhillcreamery.com. Well, it was mostly it was funny because the pilot had this level of exasperated professionalism because he's very frustrated, but he's talking to the flight control people, and he comes over and he says, we need an emergency landing. And the guy's thinking, what's the problem. You know what I mean? Like he's going, hey, can you he comes right back and he goes, okay, hold on. And he goes, we've got Montgomery 10 miles ahead, 10 miles north, blah, 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 blah. They start going through all the stuff. Like, Montgomery's up here. Does that work? And the guy goes, yeah, Roger, Montgomery's good. That's fine. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to do it. Hey. And then he goes, what's the threat level? And he goes, I got some basketball players up here fighting right now. And you can see the guy kind of like take a pause and then go, is the cabin secure or is the cockpit secure? And he goes, hold, please. And was like, that's a question? Like, we're not 100% sure. And he comes back and says yes. And then he never really gave a threat level, though. The guy comes back and goes, hey, Alpha 19, whatever. We're going to need you to re-say that threat level thing. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. We got them back here fighting. We've got some clothes ripped off. We got one pretty bloodied. That's kind of where we're sitting. It's whatever. And he comes back on in a minute and goes, we're contained for now. Is it possible if we don't do Montgomery and we go back to Auburn instead? And the guy's like, so you don't want to do the emergency landing in Montgomery anymore? He's like, no, we want to do the emergency landing in Auburn. And the guy's like, okay, but can you tell me why? And he basically comes down and goes, well, I talked to the coach, and that's where they came from. It's a basketball team, and on and on and on and on. It's like, so we're going to go back there. And then a couple minutes later, he gets on again and says, hey, can you work this out for me and make sure there are police on the ground waiting for us when we land?
Oh.
And it got a little. It did not feel like the pilot was overreacting and just simply.
Well, I mean,
and my guess is like, I
can see how that wouldn't make a message board. I mean, that's just not that big of a thing. It happens all the time.
Well, you or I would get arrested.
The football coach overcame a death scare.
You or I would get arrested for a minute, even on a charter flight. If we impacted the flight to where it had to be turned around,
yes,
FAA would be up our ass.
Yes, you would go to jail.
Yeah, I heard Parrish and Norlander called out Hokinson.
For what?
Being a homer with this whole situation, I guess.
Oh, acting like it wasn't a big deal?
I guess, yeah. I have not listened or seen it, but yeah, I did hear that. Justin was the big Cam guy back in the day, right? Wasn't he like the most fierce that Cam did nothing wrong?
Yes.
Wasn't that Justin?
Yes.
Got out of the business for a while, right? Came back?
Seems like it.
Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, it's worth the listen. It is. I'll
have to add that.
It's interesting. The pilot is very frustrated, but is trying to be very professional with the flight deck people. Because the guy was kind of rattled. He's like, hold on, an emergency. What's the problem? Sure. He wasn't expecting, hey, I got a basketball team up here fighting. That was not where he thought he was going. I mean, I'm kind of with Doors. How did Pearl not go, hey, sit your ass down?
I don't know. Maybe.
And quit?
Well, wouldn't you love to know what actually happened? Because I'm sure that he tried.
I mean, if he can't even tell him to, hey.
Well, I'm sure he wanted to. I doubt if Bruce Pearl's idea is they took off from Auburn is, you know what would be cool? As we get ready to go play Houston, you know what would be awesome?
Because they were somewhere between Montgomery and Birmingham when it happened.
What would be awesome is if we could have a really big fight up here and get bloodied to the point that we got to turn around and go back to Auburn. That'd be awesome. Let's do that.
That's what I wanted to do with my day.
Yeah,
just saying.
I mean, something tells me Bruce was kind of thinking about maybe a nice steakhouse in Houston. Strikes me as the type that would probably like to go enjoy a nice Cabernet, perhaps.
There's no doubt he had an ops guy look up some dinner places and see what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, I would think.
Yeah.
Hey, give me a list of the 5 top Italian places in Houston. Let's see what's up. I mean, I'd buy that. Bruce seems like I've met Bruce.
It's a low-stress game. The winner doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, it's good for your net one way or the other. I've met Bruce. He's a very nice guy. Interesting.
It's that. But it's like I said, it's all
maybe they were fighting over Wendy's flavors. What's crazy is that you can have them all.
You don't have to choose.
You don't have to choose just one.
I've done it. I've gone in and ordered every damn one of them. They thought I was a little psycho for a second, but otherwise they fulfill the order.
You can have. It's like maybe what happened is that someone was like, these spicy ones are amazing, and they didn't get enough of those, and it turned into a fight. I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, CJ makes a good point. It did one of two things. It escalated quickly, or there were already problems before they ever got on the plane. Or both.
Grind says it's over a girl. A story as old as time.
I mean, you would believe that.
I would.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Nope.
It's
never worth it.
Is that the take?
Yeah.
You said that really just point blank too. Like,
Well,
nah.
I remember when me and Brian Evans got in a fight over Kerry Miller. It was just never worth it.
Did it ruin your friendship? Or
No.
did y'all get over it?
No, we got it past it.
Did y'all all stay friends with Kerry Miller?
Yeah, I mean, she was a girl.
Where's she now?
I think she's still in Ruston.
Oh, really?
I think so.
What's she doing?
I don't know.
She married? Kids?
She's married and has kids, I think.
Did she go to college?
I think she went to Tech.
Did she?
I think so.
Okay.
We were in middle school.
Very Wonder Years kind of deal there.
Yeah, I just remember he said something that rubbed me the wrong way. And
Oh, you threw the first punch? Or were punches thrown?
yeah, there were punches thrown.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yep. So we got sent to Mr. McCarty's office. Got detention. Paddled. You didn't want to get paddled by Mr. McCarty.
You're not getting a feature during the bye week. It's the bye week. I'm just asking questions. That's all. Just got wondering what's going on.
I don't have a picture of Kerry.
The point of all that
Kerry
was
Miller
simply
in
to
middle
say
school.
that the league is winning a lot of early games. That's actually where this entire conversation started.
Oh.
Was that Auburn had beaten Houston and Kentucky had beaten Duke.
Well, that's boring. I thought we were talking about fun stuff.
I mean,
Like fights on planes and junior high fights.
I just don't see you as getting in a ton of fights. So I was kind of
No,
curious.
I'm not a big
You say
fighting-
you're a
not
bit
a
of a
big-
pacifist.
Not a big fighting type guy.
So I mean, whatever they said had to be really rude about Kerry Miller.
I don't remember. It's probably one of those deals where it just kept going, and then it finally hit a point where it was like, I'm tired of this.
Ooh.
And then that's
I have spoken.
well, that's typically my MO. I take it for a long time, and then I get to a point where that's it.
And then you blow the hell up, and everybody's like, "What's his problem?" And it's
Right.
like, but it's the 9,000 things that came before
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you didn't see that
Yeah.
were under the surface of the water
Yeah.
before it.
I have a long fuse, and then once the fuse lights, it's a big explosion.
It's a damn M80 thing, like firework
Yeah.
situation at
Yeah.
that point.
Which I'm not sure is a terrible way to be.
No, it's fine. Bad night for Eric Spoelstra, by the way, last night.
That was a bad night for Spo.
Oh, you watched it?
No,
NBA?
but I heard about it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Nope,
whoa,
I heard about it.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
I did not
whoa.
watch. I did not watch, but I heard about it. I was coming back from,
Tie game
I was
called
coming back
timeout. He
from-
didn't have with 1 second
I
left.
was coming back from Carson's game, and I was actually looking on Twitter for some Ole Miss stuff, and I saw where Spo called timeout when he didn't have one.
1 second left. Tie game. Free throws ended it.
Yeah, Larry, that is me. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Absolutely. That's
You are very rarely going to instigate.
no. I mean,
Almost never.
it's like when that guy at Boo-Ray was like, "You want to step outside?" And I went, "Yeah." And I realized, oh shit, because it's too late now. I got lucky that he was like, "Today's your lucky day" or whatever. I was like, "Okay, dude, sure."
Good.
And then I was like, went back upstairs, going, "Well, that was a bullet dodged.
It was.
That wasn't going to end well."
The best part of last night was Jalen Rose being in the crowd and his reaction to
really?
Spoelstra doing that, because obviously he has a pretty famous one associated with him as well.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, he like looks up at the board, sees it, and like has this like expression like, oh shit,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, yeah, I've seen that one before.
Of course, I'd rather have it in a November NBA game than in the NCAA final. It's really a shame that that's what defined Chris Webber's college career.
And it does. I mean, it's last thing. Where are the Rays going to play? Because they can't play at their stadium
I don't know.
this year.
Saw that.
Whole year. 55.7 million repairs and won't be finished until 2026.
Got to play a whole season somewhere else. And there's no place really in Florida to do it.
I mean, don't you just literally buy out some college and play it there and just let it be what it is?
I don't
for
know
the
that
year?
Major League Baseball would pass off on that.
So they're gonna move them somewhere for the freaking year?
Well, I mean, like,
Is that better?
that's been done before.
Yeah, I know.
Like Charlotte, Nashville. You're going to have to play in a place that has major league quality amenities.
Mm-hmm.
Major leaguers aren't going to do that. And there's media and there's just, And you have to have a place that's a nice enough park that it protects the integrity of statistics.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to have the stuff with the replay. So, no, I don't know that you could go play at like the University of Tampa or something.
Okay.
I mean, my guess is that we're talking about.
There aren't many places even what you're talking about that work.
And the only other thing is maybe they could work it out with like the Braves and a couple of like the Marlins where they
Play home games at another park.
Yeah, that sucks. That's brutal. For a franchise that was already kind of looking to move, this might be the final straw. I mean, if I'm Nashville, if I'm Charlotte, and I think I can handle them, I'm like, hey, we'll handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could end up being like Oklahoma City did when they took the
Sonics,
the Hornets.
Oh, okay.
Remember New Orleans had the Hurricane?
That's right. Yeah.
And New Orleans couldn't play at the arena for a year, and they played a year in Oklahoma City.
Uh-huh.
That was the Oklahoma City was then able to turn around and win the.
That was their proof of concept.
That was proof of concept that it works here. See, look, all these people come to see a team that's from New Orleans.
They don't have very long to do it either. They got 3 or 4 months to figure it out. So curious where that goes as we move forward there. All right. Content up at rebelgrove.com. A good bit of that this morning. And as the Daves move on as well, we'll talk to Jeffrey tomorrow. It is a bye week, remember, for Ole Miss, but we'll have some of the normal schedule the rest of the week. So appreciate everybody in the stream as always. Thanks to you. Thanks to all the listeners, subscribers, and readers. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow.